This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by John Docherty for the first time in 2021. John, how are you?
All good, pal. Just taking over just now and waiting on some big news getting announced in the next few weeks.
It's good to hear that. Obviously, you're all good. You mentioned some big news there. Can you give us any kind of insight into that?
Not as yet. I've got to wait till all this announced by the people who's doing it, obviously. Just now I can't let nothing out. So I've had a lot of people asking me, but I'm usually the one to spill it out, but I can't.
John, are you one of those, and when you do have news, do you struggle to keep it in, or are you usually quite relaxed about it and quite easy to get it out of?
No, I keep it in. If I've got to keep it in, I've got to keep it in. I don't let it out. So.
Well, John, we'll soon see, because I'm sure I'll try and tempt it out of you as this interview goes on.
Yeah.
But before we get into some fighting talk, let's just go back to your last fight, your first professional career loss. We haven't had a chance to catch up since, John. Just kind of reflect on the defeat to Jack Cullen. Now you've had some time to reflect.
Yeah. Listen, Jack Cullen brought a different game to what he was going to come as, but it was a lot better than I thought he was going to be, boxing wise. Like, I knew he could fight and he liked to brawl, but he never really done much of that with me. He worked a lot behind his jab. His jab was a lot more accurate than I thought. Listen, but that wasn't John Docherty in there. There was a lot of problems with that fight, and like even the training wise, just everything going into that fight. I wasn't prepared to go the 10 rounds. Do you know what I mean? I had in my head I was going to knock him out maybe in the first or second round. Do you know what I mean? So I never put my fully heart into training, and it showed when I was about this. I think it was the 6th round. I just felt my wind going. I was in survival mode, to be fair, just to get through the 10 rounds. I wasn't caring of winning or losing or what I was doing. At the end of the fight, I maybe thought I knew it was very close, but I thought I maybe would have got it by a round. But I watched it back a few times, and the right man won. Jack Cullen definitely won the fight, and as you could tell, that was definitely not me in there. And I've made some changes in my career, which is going to get announced in the next few weeks, and it's for the good.
When you reflect on the fight, John, and when you reflect on your time in the ring on the night, what were the overriding factors for you that maybe added to your downfall? It was interesting that you mentioned kind of you went in there looking for the knockout. You had it in your head that it was going to happen on the night that didn't come to fruition. Was that kind of one of the issues? You just had this siege mentality that you almost felt assured that it was definitely going to happen, and maybe you overlooked the challenge of Jack Cullen?
Yeah, basically that's what happened. I overlooked him. I went in there just thinking I was going to knock him out. To be fair with you, I was knocking everyone out. Do you know what I mean? So I got stuck with that same style. Just knock everyone out basically all over the front foot. I remember my whole pro career, I've never seen me go even in sparring. I never tried to box once in my sparring, like even in a sparring session. So because of knocking everyone out, I thought I could get away with it. Do you know what I mean? But Jack Cullen, fair play to him. He raised his game, and he beat me on the night. Well, man won. Do you know what I mean? So I've just got to go on to my next fight now and work on what I've done wrong. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I did. I've changed a few things, and as I said, I can't say nothing yet, but it's for the good, and I can't wait for my next fight. I'm a lot better than that, and that wasn't John Docherty in the ring. And I'm not going to fair play to Jack Cullen. He did win. He beat John Docherty on the night, but that was definitely not me in there. I was getting hit shots where I shouldn't have been getting hit. I getting hit by a jab over the top of my jab. I went in there looking to go and ball, to be fair with you, and Jack Cullen done a good game plan and beat me. Fair play to him.
One comparison I want to make, I remember when Anthony Fowler lost to Scott Fitzgerald, he said he was in a very similar kind of phrasing that you're giving now, that up until the point of his first loss, he was knocking everybody out, he was walking through them, he had that same style. He came to Scott Fitzgerald, who boxed a bit more, and he expected to stop Scott, and it just never happened for him on the night. Do you see similarities then from what I'm saying and from what Anthony said about his own career to what you've gone on to so far?
Yeah, one made me say the exact same thing. I went in that mindset of knocking everyone out, and Jack Cullen, fair play to him, he took my shots, and he come back with his own shots. But as I still stand just now, with my boxing ability, I know how good I can be. Is that I should be going walking through Jack Cullen. I'm not just disrespecting him. He's beat me. Fair play to him. But he's beat the worst John Docherty I've ever seen. Only beat me by 2. I think a few judges had 2 rounds and 1 round. But it was only you know what I mean. That was the worst John Docherty. I was out of breath on the 6th round. Though I couldn't breathe. I thought I just have to survive. And I was in survival mode from the 6th round downwards. I was just trying to get through the rounds. He wasn't hurting me or nothing like that there. I think the 8th round he hit me the best. I was absolutely out of breath and he hit me the best hook you've ever seen. And it didn't knock me down or anything like that. So I was never hurt or anything like that. It was just getting through the rounds. So I was that much out of breath. And I went back to my old ways, put my chin in the air. Like I've changed a lot of things in my career now, and this is for the better of me. And I just can't wait to get back on the horse and get going again. Because the Jack Cullen fight defeat, everyone, you only can go back with your last performance, and my last performance was absolutely terrible. And that's why I've made these different moves. Do you know what I mean?
I don't want it to seem like I'm dwelling on that fight, John, and we obviously will move forwards to what you want to move on to this year. But just kind of to stick with it for now, one thing which I wanted to kind of pick up on and ask you about was you and Jack were scheduled to fight on the same card against different opponents originally. Yeah. Both of your original opponent and Jack's original opponent pulled out. Do you regret stepping in to face each other now? And in your case, obviously, what happened afterwards with the loss?
No, definitely not. That loss has made me it'll make me a better fighter. And that's why that loss has come at the right time, because that's why I've made changes. If that loss never come and I would have won that fight, even on that night, that performance, and I would have won that fight, I wouldn't have changed nothing. I would have gone back into the gym again, and I would have not changed anything. I mean, so that's how I'm glad that's happened to me. And after that fight, I had 6 weeks off, and I was going to quit. I was actually going to quit boxing. I've never had a loss like that before against an opponent at his standard. I mean, and I lost, and it was heartbroken to be fair with you. But I got back on the horse, and I've just been looking around for trainers, and I found my trainer now, and I'm just going to set on and just get ready for the next big fights coming ahead. I mean, I've got some big fights ahead and some more big nights to come back to Scotland. Do you know what I mean? But obviously with this COVID and that, it's a lot more harder. So, but Jack Cullen, fair play to him. I can't take nothing away from him. He beat me on the night. But if the right John Docherty was in there with 100% fitness and the way I can box instead of going there trying to knock everyone out, not disrespectful, I think I'd walk through Jack Cullen. But I can't say that now because he's beat me. Do you know what I mean? So fair play to him.
John, you mentioned you're looking around for trainers. I know that you've parted ways with Tony Sims. Tony briefly touched on it in an interview I did with him a couple of weeks ago. Can you just kind of expand on that from your side and why you decided to part ways?
Just basically, I was a good bit away from the gym. I was about 60 miles from the gym. So I was driving there the day. In the early ones at the runs, I was getting up at I think it was 5:45 or 6 o'clock to go there for 7:30. Do you know what I mean? So it was too long, and it showed my fun performance. Do you know what I mean? I was too far away from the gym, and the weights and that there was just too much separated, and I needed to be close, and I've made that move now, and I'm actually moving away from London, and I've moved somewhere else. So I'm putting everything back into my one shoe again, and hopefully it all works off this time. Do you know what I mean? I'm not miles away from the gym. I'm on the doorstep. So.
I'm trying to work out, John, as to who you may be working with, because it's the one thing which I don't know. Can you give us any inkling as to kind of who you've been or who you've at least been training with, and who you've kind of had effectively a feel around the situation, see who you'd like to take up on the offer of working together?
I can't say nothing because I've been told. I actually asked them before I went on this interview because I knew it'd be asked, but I can't let nothing out. And even who I've been trying to train with, do you know what I mean? I've not actually went around and trained with everyone. I've just went to a trainer that will think it will suit me and my style of boxing instead of looking to ball all the time and taking unnecessary shots, what I don't need to take. And I know for a fact this trainer, when it does get announced, he is going to bring me on to the next level. And I'm just looking forward to the future, as I said.
John, then let's move forward. Let's talk about the future. From what you can tell me, what would you like to achieve this year? What is the ultimate ambition for yourself, and how soon can we expect to see you back in the ring?
I'm fighting in the middle of April, and I'm just looking for an immediate title. some just to get another win. I'm looking to free up another 3 to 4 times this year. So that's I've been telling. So I've just got to go by that there, and obviously I've got to be winning. And if I'm not performing the way I should be performing, instead of knocking everyone out, I'm not going to go in there. You're not going to see John Docherty no more. The Doc's going to come in there and try and knock everyone out. Yeah, I'm not going to go in there looking for it no more. I'm just going to go back to my old amateur way and just back to my boxing style. And I look to be fighting in the middle of April, as I said, and then after that, there get an immediate title or something around my waist. Just get on the immediate scene and just see how it goes from there. Do you know what I mean?
John, do you feel a pressure to come back in a successful manner, and not just a successful manner, but one which will be effectively emphatic to prove a point and to show everybody the Jack Cullen fight was just a blip in your case?
Yeah, that's one way. That's always on my mind. Obviously, I've got about 10 weeks of camp, so I've started already, and I'm ready to come back and show everyone my skills. Do you know what I mean? Everyone just knew I can. Everyone knows I can punch hard and I can do this here, and I'm just got to come back here and look unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not coming back to fight no journeyman. I'm not. It's not going to be the case of that. So we're looking for a good opponent, and hopefully August announced in the next few weeks.
John, what's got you? Just want to get your thoughts on a couple of other fights that have been discussed recently around the world. Provided Canelo overcomes Avni Yildirim on February 27th, Billy Joe Saunders seems next in line to face him in May. Your thoughts, if that one is obviously rubber stamped and goes ahead, Canelo versus Billy Joe?
That'll be a very good fight if Billy Joe Saunders brings his A game, which I think he will against Canelo Alvarez, because you have to. I do think Billy Joe Saunders can win that fight, and I'm not just saying it because he's a traveller and the same as me, but I just think he can beat Canelo. He's got all the tools to beat him, and Billy Joe Saunders, I've sparred him. He's one hell of a fighter, and his last few performances, he's never showed it. Do you know what I mean? So he needs somebody that's going to give him get some fear in him, and that fight will give him that. And I just see Billy Joe Saunders beating him. To be fair, don't get me wrong, Canelo is one of the best out there, and one punch can change a fight, even at our weight. So, but I'll be backing Billy Joe Saunders for that.
Is that the style that, in your opinion, is required to defeat that pound-for-pound star, Saul Canelo Alvarez, the hit and not get hit style of Billy Joe Saunders, the brilliant footwork and the technician that he is around the ring, and on his best day? Is that the style you think is needed to overcome Canelo?
1,000,000%, yeah. Obviously, there was that Cuban fighter. I thought he got beat off her. I'm sure it's a Cuban fighter, and Floyd Mayweather. I mean, there was all boxers. I mean, so yeah, Billy Joe Saunders is all wrong for Canelo, and he'll show it on the night. If he comes and brings his A game, I 100% believe Billy Joe Saunders can beat Canelo.
All right, John, we will leave it there now. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening. I appreciate you catching up with me today, but I'm going to leave a final word to yourself for everybody who's going to tune in and continue to follow you this year, and for everybody who's followed you last year in your career so far. What would you like to say to them?
I just got to say thanks to everyone who's followed me. Obviously, after that defeat there, I got a lot of people dropped me, and even my sponsorship. But everyone who's stuck by me, thanks very much. And there's some big plans coming in the next few weeks. So thanks very much to all my fans.
John, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you for the first time this year, and make sure he's not the last. Thank you for your time. And
cheers, Paul. Thank you very much. Yeah.